Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Whee!
Alright, so we just started what might be an awkward conversation, but between, episodes, I really was just thinking, there were so many times in that first day working there that I went, none of these choices are really what I'd want to choose. And then they're like, you stack up to be described as many people have described you in the working place. I'm like, despite my best efforts, I am still me.
Which actually almost kind of makes me wonder what would happen if I'd done it.
Yeah,
I was kind of like, how far could we actually play the character? Because also, I'm wondering if basically the dialogue is, how far the dialogue changes go in regards to how the the dialogue in between the choices changes. That is what I'm actually curious about, because if that's changing, it's starting to reflect my friend's choices more and more, because that's the writing shifting.
Right, and
so
the thing is,
my friend going,
starts...
it sounds like you're going for this, we're trying to play a character, what we think the writers wrote, and they're kind of like, yeah, well, the game changes to fit what you're answering.
We're also moving towards you, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Juniper, please tell me you told them no because I'd already taken this job by that point, not because you forgot?
Hey, I didn't forget. I just, didn't bother telling you about the open position that night. I mean, you'd already had so many jobs you hated. I knew you'd hate being an assistant synergy manager, so I didn't feel the need to tell you.
You're really cute, and I appreciate that.
It all worked out, right? You just spent the last 5 minutes telling me how happy you are here.
Yeah, but I'm not going anywhere financially, so it doesn't matter if I'm super happy. I mean, not a lie. I was happy here, indeed, until a minute ago. Also not a lie, having packed pizza bagels for lunch after having pizza bagels for breakfast because we barely had enough money to cover the rent this week. Pulled together, this job does not pay enough. Also not a lie, Gavin constantly hiding the numbers from us, insisting things were fine, all while dryly joking about perpetually being on edge of crash and burn. Also not a lie, that every time someone in my family tried to chase after happiness instead of stability, we fell deeper and deeper into debt and misery. So this job is barely paying the bills, and it suggests that it is not stable at all.
I have found this to be very frustrating, and I have also had people in professional positions going, no, pursue what you love. And it's going, love is not going to put food on my table.
And the thing is there's also an interesting thing that I encountered too, where in reference to being an artist, and especially a traditional artist, a lot of times people go, wow, you have so much fun when you paint. Wow, you love it so much. You should do it for free. Getting told, so there's this interesting conflict between do what you love to make a living, and the people going, but you're having so much fun, you should do it for free instead of make a living. I've heard it over and over again in my life. You love voice acting, you should just do it for free. Who cares if you're getting paid? You love it. And I'm going, if they say do what you love, you have to be able to get paid for it, or you have to be able to get paid somehow, otherwise you don't have permission to live.
Yeah, oh my god.
Ooh.
Lies, say something. You're scaring me.
When I lost my lifeguard job, I barely reacted. Didn't care that I was impoverished again and facing an uncertain future. I guess one of the nasty side effects of no longer going with the flow is no longer being numb to the reality of your situation. But I shouldn't feel upset. I've been genuinely enjoying my new job. I've restored my sense of hope that my days can be something to live through. Not just endure. I will have to say that for me, one of the things I learned, and this has to do with basically the work ethic I was raised with, probably potentially because my mom was disabled and she had to work so hard for everything. So there was a lot more distinctive work ethic awareness in reference to when she was able to do things, she really spent a lot of herself to do them, you know? That for me, I always enjoyed a job if I felt it was worth the pay. If I had here's the lifestyle that I want, here's what I want in reference to my current apartment costs or whatever, and the job was doing that, I wasn't just enduring the day. I was happy to go there because it was accommodating the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I've had what could be considered some monotonous, crappy, abusive jobs, but to me, I wasn't emotionally invested in those people or that place. I wanted to do my work well, earn the pay that I had agreed to work for, and go home comfortably. So for me, yeah, making a job enjoyable is a lot about paying me well.
Yeah.
It's cool, and there are other benefits, and I'll get more from them, but that's a lot of it.
It's one of those things, though, also I think is really fun, of going, you can also have a job, though, that you love, and also that pays you well. A really weird idea that a lot of capitalists don't seem to understand.
You can have
And that it
both.
should be fine to ask for both.
And it's just, I have no right to be angry or upset at losing an opportunity at a safer, more stable future, right? On the other hand, if she's not getting paid well enough to make her half of the rent, was that entry-level position better than her position? Oh, I shouldn't be asking those questions. It's okay, I'm where I want to be. Honest truth. It's okay, everything's fine. Lie to protect Juniper. It's not okay. Why didn't you tell me? Harsh truth.
I love her little cat stockings, by the way.
I do.
Still, like...
They're very, very
They delight
cute.
me.
The dumb little faces are the best. They're so great.
Okay, so...
I was gonna say, but like, I have never seen cat stockings with that derpy of a cat face on them, and I love it. It's just brilliant.
So.
Okay, I feel like this character would be in the middle. They are clearly disappointed. Like, that was a level of disappointed, but I don't want to hurt my friend, which is very, very common. Kind of, and is the sort of thing, if we haven't been, like, aggressively truthful with everyone and everything, we've just been sort of in the middle line. So I think it's okay, everything is fine, but lying.
All right, cool. So I love the fact that that's considered to be a lie, but it's okay.
Well, so the thing is you can go. They're telling you which one, like basically what it is for your character,
which is nice.
They're letting you choose. Am I telling the truth, saying it's fine, or am I lying and saying it's fine?
Yeah.
Everything's fine. I promise. Nope. Can't help it. I'm angry or upset. I'm quite possibly angry and upset. All my life, I've watched my parents suffer, given the short end of the stick in life, a curse passed down from them to me in turn, which usually has to do with poor education and resources, and those things prevent you from getting financial stability.
It's also the fact, too, that they really do have studies, and it is a terrible, terrible lie that we are told over and over again in the United States, that if you just work hard enough, you will get out of your city situation. That is not true.
And also, if you scrimp and save, and you don't go to the salon, and you don't buy that latte, and the thing is it's like...
how awkward that is, where people go, well, you just can't do all these extra things, and you just stare at them, and you just go,
okay,
I've never done that, and they do not know how to react.
I was in a social group one time, just like one of those like community, hangout groups for women, and just like, you all like just hang out and like, it was like listen to edifying speeches, basically. Someone would come in and give you a pep talk, and you'd all just hang out and eat snacks kind of thing. Happened once a month. And like at that same time, I was living in really poor conditions, right? So these were, most of these were very young, like young adult women kind of thing, right? And there was this one person who came in who was a financial consultant. It was like, all right, ladies, we're going to help you out, right? It's really important. Like, stop getting professional haircuts, don't go to salon, cut your own hair, that kind of thing. Stop going for lattes, stop eating out. This is going to save you so much money you won't even understand. Like, take your manicures down to like once a month instead of every week, like all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, raised my hand and I said, I've been cutting my own hair, since I was little. I've never even had a professional haircut at that point, right? And I was there, and they're like, well, buy a cheaper shampoo. I'm like, I buy the 99-cent shampoo. And they're like, yeah, and you just don't go out to eat. I'm like, the only time I ever go out to eat is when it's a sale that's cheaper than buying the food at the store. And it's like, I don't go to places with sit-down service or anything. You go when Taco Bell's having a promotional so that, you get $10 worth of food for $5. And it's like, they had no answers for me. It was like, I am working hard. I work 40 hours a week and I've got nothing. I am not able to move to a better financial situation. And it's like, most of the financial consulting that I have encountered counts on the fact that you are already in basically a middle or lower middle class situation. My dad, actually, and he's one of the most well-off financial people in my family when I was younger, really was. He's like, I went to a financial planning seminar one time. This is a popular thing to do, in Silicon Valley when you work in computers and whatever. And he's like, the guy was talking about saving a bunch of money, and that instead of buying a brand new car every 3 years, because he counted on that in your normal budget of every person there, you would buy or lease a brand new car every 3 years. He says, move it to every 5 years, you'll save so much money. This was one of the primary principles of saving, making your life better financially. I'm like, I have owned one car in my entire life. That's it.
It sounds really alien, doesn't it?
It does.
It sounds inhuman. Like my parents even talking about, I remember growing up of going like, yeah, we're going to have to make some sacrifices. We're going to have to buy a car once every 4 or 5 years.
And
we didn't
like,
do
that.
Like even my dad talked about it going like, there was this thing where they were like, yeah, we did things people in our circle were baffled by, where it's like, we didn't buy a car every 3 years. We bought a car every 4 to 5 years. Yep, and that was mind boggling. And that was just like, my dad's a doctor, you guys.
Yep.
Like it was weird.
Anyway, so, now it seems I had a chance to escape that curse, and Juniper took it away, because money really will solve a lot of those problems, and even if your job is depressing, you can actually afford therapy if you got good benefits. Oh, sorry. Don't get me wrong, I love this arcade, and I did decide I was done with settling, compromising, going with the flow. but would it really be settling not to have to eat pizza bagels for lunch every day? Couldn't I swallow a boring job if it meant not constantly worrying? I had people ask me at some of my jobs, why do you show up with, like, peanut butter and jelly and corn chips every single day? And they're like, why don't you pack more interesting lunches? Why don't you do other things? I'm like, it's cheap.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, yeah, but you get paid really well at this job, $10.50 an hour. And I'm like, no, I don't. But like, well, for your age. I'm like, for my age doesn't matter. Do you know what rent prices are around here? Well, just get yourself a few roommates. I have to know people to do that, or I have to move in with total strangers. Like, dude, whoa. Like, whatever. And the thing is I had roommates a lot of the time. It was just like, you're not really accumulating any meaningful amount of money. You're not necessarily, like, I've never lived paycheck to paycheck with zero in my bank account. I am lucky enough to have never done that because I don't like to do anything for the most part that costs money. I pretty much sit home and ride my bike when I'm not, working. At least I used to. But it was just like, it's one of those, like, I can't even understand. I'm like, I've never, like, just felt like there was enough money in my life. It just, I don't know. Couldn't I swallow a boring job if it meant not constantly worrying about money? Still, there's no need to freak Juniper out over this. As always, she did her best to help me. Getting mad at her won't change anything for the better. It's okay, Juniper. You were right. I'd have hated that job, and things are great here.
Oh, good. You were kind of freaking me out. Trust me, it's the right decision. You'd learn to loathe working at my office, like I do. I mean, sure, the pay is good. And you get solid health insurance and paid vacation time, and they have a sweet coffee shop right in the lobby.
This feels ridiculously on the nose.
I think they knew what they were doing. The thing is that's frustrating me about this game is that a lot of it is so good, so accurate. Like, that financial discourse right there was really, really good. And your MC going, I'm trying to balance happiness with essentially what comes down to survival, is a big, real challenge. The only thing that's thrown me off about this game at all is the way they approach children as an obstacle. Everything else I've been like, this is really well done.
Yeah, so far, like, that was the biggest thing I think I've had to complain about. Now, I am a little unsure personally about, because I have different beliefs than some people do in regards to going, yeah, this is a romance game, or tends to be more interested in trying to encourage a romance. Now, I'm not saying that you have to play the game itself also says that, but usually these games they do tend to expect that. So I'm kind of concerned that it's eventually also going to kind of vaguely boil down into going, yeah, but love will save you.
I'd say, interestingly enough, since the game does have an option to play without romance at all, I wonder if it ranks your interaction with people every time between levels if you don't play that way.
Right? I don't know.
That'd be very
what
interesting.
Like.
What would it rank you as, and would it, instead of having people react to you, it would just do your character score?
Uh-huh. Also, that leaves me a little bit curious as to going, because, so the notation by Iris to go, this character really likes you, is sort of like, Why?
Why does that matter?
Right.
And going, are you saying friendship is go? Because I didn't get friend vibes at all from him.
No.
Anyway,
sweet coffee shop.
And these really great chairs that support your lower back, like $1,000 chairs from Sweden crafted by master chairsmiths.
Juniper, I said it's fine. Everything is fine.
Right.
Besides, coffee shop.
Forget I said anything. Please forget I said anything.
Still means you have to buy your own coffee. Don't you just love it when a company is like, we provided a bunch of perks for you that you buy yourself. We provided convenience for you to access them if you had wanted them.
Yeah.
Like, that is a thing that I have seen in companies as well, at least, especially in the last job that we worked in together, where they're like, we're going to provide more and more vending service for you, which is great, but vending is super marked up compared to buying it at a grocery store and stuff like that.
Oh, hell yeah. It's so costly.
And so it's like they were, and the thing was I worked the night shift for the longest time, and it really was, you had people coming in buying their energy drinks for $4 from the vending machine instead of for $2 from the store.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because they would go, no, I can do it without it. A lot of the challenge with being poor is you look at the store and you go, I can't have that, it's too expensive. And then in a crisis of, I told myself I'd have enough energy for this, I told myself I'd have enough energy for this, you go, I'm going to suck it up and buy the drink.
A lot of people basically get killed on convenience, basically. Like, convenience, people go, no, but it's there, it's easy to get to, it's a really easy, I'll just do it this once.
And I'm just so tired. I can't stay awake at my
We
station.
had so many fucking people who were exhausted at that job because also, unfortunately, being poor, a lot of them also ended up in either terrible relationships or relationships where they ended up having kids and they weren't prepared for them financially.
And they stayed awake with their kids all day.
And they were like, that's why
night.
I took a night job, so that I could spend all my time during the day with my kids or cleaning my house or doing all the things I'm supposed to do, because I also talked to a lot of women at that job.
Oh my
like
God.
that, and it was awful.
It was so wild. There was even men who were just like, yeah, the reason I took a night job was so I could do all the stuff I wanted to do during the day. It's like, you don't lose the need to sleep just because you work a night job. Anyway, forget she said anything.
Well, I mean...
So I'm gonna, I gotta get back to the office. Have a good lunch, okay?
I can feel the distant rumble of a frozen box of pizza bagels taunting me from the recently repaired employee break room. Are we saying the break room is the kitchen?
There might be a kitchen then in there, so it might be a little bit like ours. So sometimes, like, where people would be dumb and they would stick, metal in the microwave or something. Mm-hmm. So maybe it caught fire, as in the microwave caught fire, but you have to evacuate everyone because that's safety protocol.
Because safety protocol, that's what you have to do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And you have a good rest of the hours of your day, yeah?
Yeah.
Aw. Well, I feel awkward now. Sometimes the truth is awkward. Sometimes being honest is awkward. Sometimes being poor is just awkward. Could she tell I was lying? I really hope not. I think she could. I don't want to dump my misery on Juniper or on anyone, really. I gotta learn to swallow this down, not let it affect the people around me.
So the thing is, again, I feel like what people fucking miss out on is there's really, like, you can have a job you love. You can have something you adore doing, but then you're just kind of looking, going, I am scraping and scrimping, and I am constantly running under the threat of that I cannot live. I'm gonna die. And again, that's the thing also too, where they point out actually that it's been a discussion that people go, when you are in basically a situation where you don't have enough money to be able to basically make choices, because with money comes choices, because that's how it fucking works under capitalism, you are more inclined to make stupid choices
because you have very little freedom anyway.
Yeah, because you also at the same time too, because you have very little resources. So you're just kind of going, well, this is the best choice or best option I have, and it's actually even a psychology thing, which frustrated me. So because I grew up more in basically middle class / maybe lower middle class, upper middle class. I don't know where, because I never investigated that.
I think my friend was closer to lower middle class, which is really, really high compared to where I was, but that's okay.
Right? But they have even talked about where, like, people in my position versus, like, people in my friend's situation, you're even more inclined. You are literally taught, because you have more money and you have that comfort and you have that stability. People are basically, they're conditioned. You have this experience where you are taught to be entitled to knowledge about your circumstances. You are entitled to have information, for example, from going to the doctor's office. And they've done studies where they literally followed two separate families, where one of them was just in a lower income bracket and one was in a higher income bracket. And the one family that had the higher income bracket, the kid that they went to, these meetings for with the doctor was way more informed, tend to ask more direct questions, and the kid was more empowered by their parents to actually talk to the adults in the room. And then they had the other family that was a poorer family, where the child was completely different, and the whole family was just like, yep, I just have to accept whatever's coming my way, and they were way less likely to ask questions.
There's a level of being impoverished that basically, if you will, cows you.
Yes.
It makes you submissive to a lot of things that you actually do or should have agency over, because you're constantly getting slapped with things that you don't understand, and you don't have the time and space to go out and understand them, because you're just trying to stay afloat. And it's exhausting. It's really hard to have friends even when you're poor, because everyone's stressed out all the time. And there's this gigantic elephant in the room of going, if you're depressed, if you're unhappy, if you're frustrated, if you're overwhelmed, if you hate your life, that you can't say it's because of the money, because that's never going to change. So you have to say it's something else, even if, like, the couple of times in my life where I've been way more financially stable, most of my unhappiness and stress went away.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen it with my friend too. Like, the last job we had was a good job in many ways. Now, it wasn't something we wanted to stay with forever at all. And ultimately, we ended up moving away from the city it was in, for largely financial reasons. Let's have a good paying job in a city that's extremely expensive, Oh, I was going to say, and then it's not as good paying, and then, in reference. But it's like, it was just one of those things of, there are so many choices you can't make if you don't have money. And when you learn that you can't make choices, you're also taught, don't even try. All right. What I need right now is a distraction. Frozen frozen pizza bagels are most certainly not it. My pocket money is really slim, but I think I need to step out for some fresh air and treat myself to a better lunch than that. And hey, maybe some company too. Nice and distracting, talking to someone about anything other than this. Let's see, who's available? Who could take a break with me? Percy's taking a break from his score chasing. I have no idea if we've talked to any of these people in the meantime. Queen Bee's between matches right now. Teo's
shaking
it on Showtime stage. Ashley's not on mascot duty. It would be my assumption that we'd have had more time to spend with our employee, counterparts than with basically the strangers around us.
Right.
So my assumption is that we would be most comfortable talking to Ashley if she's here and not busy.
Right.
So that's who I'm going to pick.
Sure. Let's pick Ashley.
All right. It's not often that both floor attendants can go on break at the same time. I should take advantage of that and see if Ashley wants to grab some chow.
All right, well, we will deal with Ashley then in the next one. So thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. Got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!